Well, good morning, everyone. I am so happy to be with you, connecting with you once again. Alejandro Tornato here, coming directly from beautiful and sunny, even though outside it's a little bit gray and rainy, but it's still beautiful and sunny inside. And I'm coming from Beaufort, Georgia. And today it's a very special time because I have a wonderful person. I have a wonderful and a dear friend, and I'm going to tell you a little bit how I got to know Shawn Douglass. I mean, it's just an amazing story. But first of all, I want to welcome you, Shawn. Thank you very much. I mean, for taking time out of your schedule. I mean, to be able to chat a few moments with me. And I know that we are going to be talking about a subject that is going to, there's no doubt in my mind, add tremendous value, and is going to be very informative for the people who are actually listen to us now live or who are going to pick up the recording later on. So how are you doing, Shawn, this morning?
I'm fantastic, Alejandro. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yes, excellent. And just let me just take a few moments, I mean, to tell you how I got to know this man. It was, I think, 2 or 3 years ago. I mean, that we were both participants of a very, I would say, a very unique workshop. It's called Turning Point. And let me just say that Shawn and myself, I mean, we are both part of the John Maxwell team, a team of speakers, coaches, and trainers. And at the time, the president of the John Maxwell team, a great fellow by the name of Paul Martinelli, and also one of the faculty members, Roddy Galbraith, I mean, they had a workshop called Turning Point. It was over a weekend. We had it here in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's a very it's an immersion workshop. It's a very experiential workshop, and that's when I first got to know Shawn. And the best part of that was that. One day, I guess a complete day of the workshop, we spent it outside in a ropes course. And if you never been or heard of a ropes course, I strongly encourage that you do it. And we were part of what later on became to be known as the Elite 11, the Elite 11, because we were 11 people on this team, and we did the most outrageous and difficult and challenging ropes course that you can have. I mean, very high. I mean, one thing that we did. Paul Martinelli called it that. What is that? The stupid thing?
That big stupid thing.
Yes, that big stupid thing. I don't know how tall it was. And I tell you one thing, at that event, and especially at that course, I confronted myself with my own fears of heights. And I tell you, I mean, I got to this, I was climbing and I got to the top of this thing, and my knees were shaking, my legs were shaking, and I could see everybody looking at my face. I think that it was a very pale, I am kind of laughing and very upbeat and high spirited most of the time, but at that time my face was pale, and they could see the expression of fear, true fear in my face, and they were calming me down. And Shawn was one of them. He says, listen, It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Just breathe, and take it easy, and then go with the flow. And with the encouragement of everybody, I did it. And so that, in a nutshell, that was how I became to know Shawn Douglass. And then from that time, we stayed connected, I mean, through social media. And it is really a pleasure, I mean, to have you with me today. And today we're going to be talking about a topic that, well, let me ask, I mean, to whoever is listening to us now or at a later time, do you experience a little bully, a person, a voice that talks to you and that is not a very positive voice? I mean, it's a voice that is instilling fear in your life, is instilling doubts in your life, is instilling the idea that you cannot do anything, or that you're not good enough to do whatever you are passionate about and that you want to accomplish. But that little bully voice in the back of your head is preventing you from reaching your goals and from reaching your potential. And this is what I want Shawn to really share with all of us, because I know that Shawn has that bully voice, but he has been able to, in a sense, conquer it and deal with it in a way that is going to be very beneficial to everyone here today. So, Shawn, you got the platform, so just go ahead and talk to us about that little negative voice and how to conquer it.
Thank you, Alejandro. So in our family, we like to say that it's time to hush the inner bully. And when we say that, what we mean is we all have that inner voice that likes to push us around, that likes to tell us that we're not good enough, we're not smart enough, we're not intelligent enough, we're not good looking enough, we're not skinny enough, we're not rich enough, we're not young enough, we're not old enough. Whatever that enough is, you can fill in the blank of whatever your bully likes to tell you. But we have that voice within us that likes to try and keep us safe. You know, ultimately that voice really is there because it's trying to keep us safe. It's trying to keep us in the comfort zone. It's trying to keep us from taking risks that's going to put us in a place that's uncomfortable. And so we also know, though, that if we're going to live our best life, that life happens outside of the comfort zone. All growth happens outside of the comfort zone. And so we have to learn to hear that voice, and then we have to learn to quiet that voice so that we can take the risks that we need to take so that we can reach our goals and we can reach our dreams.
Yes, definitely. I think that most people, they get paralyzed because they pay far too much attention to that voice, and that voice stays controlled. You know, I'm sure, Shawn, that you heard this little story. There was this boy in the jungle, and it says, well, you're confronted with two animals, and then he says, well, which one of the animals is the one that is going to be stronger, the one that is going to become perhaps even more violent, and is the one that you feed, is the one that you put all your attention to, is the one that you dedicate most of the time to. And that happens with us. I mean, whether you are an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, whether you are a mom, staying at home mom and taking care of kids, whatever, whether you're a business owner, whether you are a CEO, it doesn't matter what your profession is, what your career is, what you're doing in life. if you keep listening to that voice, I tell you, definitely you will not get too many things accomplished, because that voice is trying to put the brakes on you, is trying to stop you at all cost. And I heard so many times, if you have a choice to follow your intellect and your head, or to follow your heart, I mean, just follow your heart, because the head is always trying to keep you safe. And the place of safety is that comfort, cozy zone where nothing, absolutely nothing, ever grows and nothing ever happens. If you want things to happen, if you want to make an impact, if you want to influence the world or people around you, you have to get the heck out of that comfort zone. And that voice, if you listen to it, is going to try to keep you in that zone, because it knows that you will be absolutely very weak, and not having any impact in anybody. Is that correct, Shawn?
That's correct. And I think you probably heard this before. Our mentor, Roddy, says that the comfort zone is comfortable, and that's not necessarily a good thing.
That's right. That's right. Yes. Comfortable. I said many times, comfortable is not a good thing. What is a good thing is to invite um, things that challenge you, things that make you uncomfortable, things that make you think, how am I going to do this? What are the resources that I need to utilize in order to get something done? And if you heard, and I know that you are also part of Paul Martinelli's empowerment mentoring community, and we heard it so many times with Paul, that we as spiritual beings, we are fully resourced to do whatever we need to do. Is the fact is that most people don't realize their greatness, their potential, and the fact that they have all the resources already within them to tackle anything. And they start looking here and looking there and looking everywhere, where they should be looking inside and bringing those resources to show up in the world every single day. And if we keep listening to that voice, to that bully, we need to, as you said, we need to hush it. We need to diminish it. We need to reduce its strength and its power, because otherwise it's going to be very overpowering. Now, the other thing that I want to touch with you is the fact that some people, they wait, and they wait, in my opinion, too long to start doing something, or to they have an idea that they want to implement, but then instead of just taking action on the idea, they keep on thinking about it and thinking about it, and they just go around the bush 1,000 times. And after that, they said, it's not perfect yet, or perhaps I need to ask so and so, or I need to ask permission from someone else, or I need, and then they never get anything done. So, in your opinion, I mean, how can we avoid that? How can we just go and jump, as Paul Martinelli says, and build your wings on the way down? How do we do that?
Well, Alejandro, I think what I found is that so many people, myself included, are waiting for somebody else to give them permission to follow after their dream or to follow their passion. And what I would encourage people to do is you don't need anybody else's permission. If you've been given the dream, if you've been given the idea, then that's yours. That's not somebody else's to give you permission for. You have the right, the ability, you've been fully resourced, as Alejandro said, and you have the responsibility to bring forth that which is within inside of you. You've been given a dream and a passion and a purpose. And if you sit on that and you squander that and you choose not to share that with the world, then there's people around you that are missing out. They're missing out on what you have that they need. And so I would encourage people, stop waiting for somebody around you to give you permission to take that first step. It can be scary, especially when you don't know what the next step is. But the only thing we need to know is the next step. We don't have to know what step 6 or 7 or 15 or 26 or 35 is. We need to know what step 1 is. And once we take that step, then step 2 will become obvious. Step 2 will be opened up to us. So I encourage you to take action, because action cures fear.
That, oh my goodness, I'm going to write that down. Action cures fear. That's exactly, I have on my wall a little quote by Tony Robbins. And Tony Robbins says, the path to success is to take massive, determined action. Massive, determined action. And it's just getting and begin moving. Someone, I think it was a few weeks ago, I was having a conversation with someone, and this person was saying, well, it's difficult to start because I don't know what might happen once I started something. Maybe, there has to be corrections or modifications that I need to do, or perhaps if I start going in this direction, well, maybe I'll find that was not the right direction to go. And then perhaps I lost that time, and then I have to change directions and so forth. And then when he was sharing that with me, then all of a sudden it came this illustration, and I shared that with him. He says, listen, if you travel by plane, okay, if you have to go from A to B, let's say you're going from Atlanta to Tokyo, okay, that's a pretty long journey. That's a pretty long flight. Now the plane takes off in Atlanta. Once it reaches cruising altitude, and the captain puts everything on pilot and on the autopilot, okay, so the plane just goes. Do you think that along that journey the plane goes straight from Atlanta to Tokyo? I said, no way, because there are going to be winds and the plane just gets a little bit off course. But what happens? The autopilot has all the information necessary, and it brings the plane back to course. And then perhaps it gets off course again. And during that journey, the plane doesn't go on a straight line. It just goes, and it's like it's going over obstacles. The directions, and the pilot has to control the plane and the direction back to where it is. And the same is applicable to us as business owners or entrepreneurs. We are starting to move in a direction, and perhaps we find that is not, we have to make corrections. But the only way that we can make corrections is when we are moving, when there is movement, when there is action, when there is motion. If you are standing still, doing nothing, you cannot correct anything because you haven't done anything yet to correct. In order to make corrections, you have to make mistakes first. If there are no mistakes, there are no corrections. So, do you?
I like. Let me share this real quick. I like to even think about it. Let's not think about corrections or mistakes, but so many people think that success is a straight line and success is a destination. But to me, success is an iterative process. So success, you just don't get there. It's not like I take step A, B, C, D, and E, and I arrive at success, because it's an iterative process. So success looks like this to you right now, but you take that first step and then you look and you reevaluate and you go, oh, that's not really success. This is what success looks like. And so you take the next step and you look and you evaluate again and you go, oh, wait, success is here. Oh, I need to go here. And so you take another iterative, you make another iteration of whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. And it's not necessarily that there's a mistake or that you've made a mistake or you've messed up, but it's you are not the same person you were when you were 2 steps behind. You're a completely new person with new awarenesses and new desires and new dreams and new skills. And when you have those new visions and new desires and new dreams, and you have a new skill set and you have an increased awareness, you see things differently. So it's not even so much that we make mistakes and we need to change, but we're a different person and we become aware of what the next step is.
That's a great point. That's a great point. And one of the things, and what you just said, brings back to my mind the fact that I heard it so many times. What is the purpose of having a goal or having goals in your life? And most people would say, well, the purpose of having a goal is to achieve the goal. To really fulfill the goal. And I said, yes and no. And because the primary reason for having a goal is not to achieve the goal, but is the person that you are becoming in the journey of growth to achieve the goal. Because when you start going in the direction of achieving a goal, then you are who you are back then. But along the way, you are changing who you are and who you need to be to achieve the goal. So the primary purpose of goals is you growing as a human being and becoming the very best version of yourself that is going to achieve the goal. So I think that what you just said, Shawn, it's just head on. I think that it's very, very important. So just, I guess, to bring this conversation to a conclusion, let me just ask you. I know that we are right at the beginning of March. The year 2020 is still very young yet. Are you on course? I don't know, whether you are a New Year's resolutions kind of guy or not. I am not. But whether you made resolutions or not, the goals and the things that you want to achieve this year, are you still moving along? You are on course, or you have been kind of distracted a little bit, up until now?
We started the year off really strong. We had a live event that we did. We had some people come out, which was a great event. And we finished that event and we had a vision of where things were going. And it's just like I talked about, that iterative process. We got on the other side of that event and we were like, we learned some things. We had a new awareness. and we realized that there were some things that needed to change. So we personally, my wife, who's joined me in our business, we took a couple weeks to really just figure out, okay, what is the next step? And honestly, it took us a while. We had some growing pains. We had some, when we talk about the iterative process of creating and recreating, it's like in manufacturing where you have a vision,
Yes.
and then you have a blueprint, and then you send it to the engineers, and they create the molds or whatever, and then they create a prototype, right? And that prototype comes out, and then you have to see if that prototype is really going to work and function the way that the original designer wanted it to function.
Yeah.
And so in our business, that's kind of where we were at. We had a blueprint. We kind of sent it to the designers, and we brought it out, and we had the prototype, and we went, oh, wow, this is not what we thought it was going to be. And this isn't going to work the way we thought it was going to work. And so we had to kind of go back to the drawing board and look at, okay, what are we going to do? What changes can we make in ourselves, in our business, in this prototype, in the blueprint, in the map, so that we can get to ultimately where it is that we want to be? And so right now, we're in the process of building out some new things. We have a new challenge that we're getting ready to launch in about a week and a half. We have people that are joining us in, it's called the Hush Challenge. And we're going to walk through the Hush the Inner Bully framework. There's a framework of how do we take control of those thoughts, and how do we challenge that bully, and how do we really reprogram ourselves and hush that inner bully. And we're going to provide tools, and we're going to provide some opportunities for people to really dig deep and learn how we've done that personally in our lives, and how they can take and apply that. So we're really excited about that coming up. We're excited about that challenge, and really excited about the next steps that come after that. So I would say, yeah, we are just as much as a plane when it takes off from Atlanta and is headed to Tokyo. We're on target, but as the wind blows you, to the east or the west or the north or the south, you just readjust and you keep pushing forward.
Excellent. Now, is this program, this Hush the Bully program, is this going to be a virtual program? Is going to be in person? I mean, what kind of a program is that going to be? A recording, so for people like a webinar kind of thing?
So it is a 7-day challenge that we're hosting on Facebook, and it's free. Okay. And basically, what people can do is what we're going to do is it's a 7-day challenge. It's going to be each day 5 to 10 minutes of teaching on a strategy, and then there's going to be a worksheet with some accountability and some personal activities that people can work through. And then we're going to have an accountability group in Facebook where everybody can kind of share the results, share the things that they're going through, things that they're thinking through, so that everybody can support one another.
Excellent. Now, are you? I mean, if people want to be part of that challenge, how do they get in touch with you, or are you promoting that? I mean, is there a link that people can go? I mean, to register for it?
Sure, we can put the link somewhere in the comments here, but the link is Douglass Leadership Group, and Douglass has 2 S's. So Douglass Leadership Group /Hush. Okay. And they can register there, and that will ultimately give them the link to join the Facebook challenge group.
So hold on one second. I'm going to post it in a comment here. So give me that link again, slowly, so I can type it.
Sure. Douglass, Douglass.
Okay.
Leadership.
With a space or all together?
Nope, all together.
Leadership.
Group, group.com /hush, HUSH.
Okay, so Douglass Leadership Group.com and then Hush. Okay, so let me go enter. And there it is. Can you see that?
I can see it.
Okay, so is that um, okay? That's fine. That's good. So, for all of you, I mean, this is going to be, this is going to be a great opportunity. I mean, if you have been really been challenged or fighting that inner bully, and that you want to really get strategies, I mean, how to deal with it. And there's going to be homework for you to do. I mean, whoever is going to be part of that group, okay, this is not something that, hey, I mean, I'm going to show up in Facebook, I'm going to listen, and I'm not going to do. This is going to be an activity. This is active. I mean, you cannot grow, you cannot move to a different level of awareness if you do not take action. And so what Shawn is putting together are strategies, teaching that he's going to share with the participants, but then you have to do the work, and then you can come together. I mean, there's going to be accountability, and that's a great element, because I think that most people keep growing and keep developing when there is accountability, when you can be accountable for what you have done or for what you have not done. And then you need a little kick on the teeth. To say, hey, just get it done. You know, I mean, this is a group with no excuses. I mean, we need to activate and take action. So I really appreciate, I think that, Shawn, what you're doing, and we talked what you're doing with your wife, and what you're doing, I mean, to add value to other people, then to make a difference, and to be a person of influence. You know, it's you are developing other people, and you want to take other people to a higher level. And I really appreciate, the work that you're doing. Is there any last thoughts or words that you want to share?
I would just say, remember that you don't need anybody's permission to follow your dream and to take action on your passion.
That's exactly right. That's let me tell you one thing. If you are waiting for someone to give you permission for you to become your very best self, then keep on waiting, my friend, because no one is going to give you that permission. The only one who is going to give you that permission and that green light to say, go and kill it, is none other than yourself, than you. You have to give yourself permission. And that's the only permission that you need. So, Shawn Douglass, thank you so very much. I really appreciate you, my friend, and all the very best. For the remainder of this year. You are on the right pathway, and you are making a true difference in the world. And I'm very thankful that I met you. And I'm very thankful that we still have this connection. So for all of you who have been listening to us, I tell you, it's been a great conversation. And there's going to be more conversations like this one, because I think that we all need to learn from people who have the experience and who have the knowledge and wisdom. And we all need to have this kind of teaching for the very first time, or as a very good reminder. So have a great rest of the day. And as I always end all my broadcasts by saying, live every moment, be resilient, and also be kind, be passionate, be well.